Here's a very simple question. Would you rather sell a product that currently has about 700 monthly searches and a plus 51% 30-day search trend, or one that has over 24,000 monthly searches and almost a 2,000% 30-day search trend? By the end of today's video, you're going to be able to tell me which one of these products that we just took a look at is going to be a better long-term product to sell on Amazon. Welcome back to another video here on Debt to Dollars, and today I want to teach you guys how you can find long-term products to sell on Amazon that will have stable demand throughout all seasons. After all, as an Amazon seller, it's best to find products that you can sell long-term instead of products that have an increased amount of demand over a short period of time. This protects your investment and gives you the best opportunity to build brand loyalty. That is why we should all be striving to sell long-term products on Amazon instead of those seasonal or fad type products, especially if you're looking to private label them. Now, before we go ahead and I tell you exactly what you need to do using Jungle Scout in order to find these products that are long-term, I want to define some of these terms so we're all on the same page and we understand what a long-term product is, what a seasonal product is, and what a fad type product is going to be. Simply put, a long-term product is one that has consistent monthly sales and search trends. Additionally, these products are not tied to any of the 4 seasons throughout the year. They have stable demand throughout the course of the year, and most importantly, they have justification for their use throughout all 4 seasons. So now that we know that, what is the difference between a seasonal and a fad type product? We're going to start out with a fad type product here, and I'm sure you know what it means, but just to define it, it's a product that has a widely shared enthusiasm, especially one that is short-lived. Essentially, it's a craze. Anytime I think of a fad, I immediately think about toys and games. So if you think about it, toys come in and they go over time and typically in short durations of time. And the reason why that is because as new toys come out, newer toys end up coming out months and months after that. And so those older toys, they're not as attractive and kids do not want them, so they end up getting phased out and it just becomes a fad. Next, we're going to take a look at a seasonal product. It is based on how different the demand for a product is and if that spike in demand is cyclical. So that essentially means, does it happen every year at the same time every year? So whenever I'm reviewing products for you guys and I say that a product has low seasonality, what I really mean by that is that during the span of the year, there's going to be very few spikes up and down, dramatic spikes. For a very high seasonal product, you're going to have dramatic and significant spikes in demand for a short duration of time. The easiest way to find a seasonal product is to ask yourself these 2 questions. First, does it relate to any seasons or holidays? Second, are there spikes in demand that last less than 4 months and come back each year? If you're reviewing a product and you answer yes to any one of these single questions, then it's going to be a seasonal product. All right, so we're all on the same page now. We understand what a long-term, seasonal, and fad type product is. Let's head over to the computer and let's check out Jungle Scout, where I'm going to teach you guys a couple different filters you can put in place so that way you have no chance of actually coming across a seasonal or a fad type product. In addition, these are the same filters that I use for my business to find low seasonal products, non-fad type products, and most importantly, long-term products. So let's check it out now and head over to the computer. Now that we're on the computer now, we're going to head over to the Opportunity Finder on Jungle Scout. If you do not have this, I do have a discounted link in the description that you can go ahead and you can purchase the software for a month, 3 months, 6 months, up to a year for that license. This is going to help us identify those long-term products. I'm going to show you the filters here, what you need to put in there so that everything that's outputted here down below, all of the product niches, they're going to be great long-term opportunities. The first thing on the left here are your categories that you want to search. There are specific categories that are better than others for a long-term product, and those are going to be on the right side here. That's just coincidentally. Home and kitchen is great, kitchen and dining, office products, pet supplies, and tools and home improvement. These are the ones that I really focus on instead of some of the other ones. Now, some of the other ones tend to be a lot more seasonal and also include a lot more fad type products. For example, patio, lawn, and garden. As the seasons change, a lot of those products phase in, phase out with their demand, and it's not really great for those long-term products. The same goes for sports and outdoors. As the seasons change, different sports are happening. Same with anything outdoors. Camping's only during a short season here in the United States, especially the Northeast. So it's something to keep in mind. And then for the fad type products, stay away from toys and games and video games. those tend to go out very quickly. So I'll select those 5 that we have here. Then I'll head over to the average monthly units sold. I'll put 500 in here as the minimum and nothing for the maximum. Over 500 is typically a high demand product, at least in my opinion. Monthly search volume, you can leave this blank. Niche score, put a 7 as your min, and then we'll go down here to competition. I prefer very low to low. Do not go the whole way to very low, very low. It's going to really limit your search, and you honestly may not find anything with all of these filters that we're going to put in there. Keywords, don't put anything. Make sure that exclude top brands is selected. Okay, and going to the upper right hand corner here, we have the average monthly price. This is the sales price of that product on Amazon. I like to put $10 in here because anything really below $10, you're still going to pay that 15% to Amazon for the referral fee. And additionally, if you're using Amazon FBA fulfillment services, you're going to be paying them at least $2.70 per each time, each sale that they have to fulfill one of those orders. So over $10, it gives you enough room, enough margin to actually profit a good bit. Now moving down, this is one of the most important ones I want you to pay particular attention to. This is your 30-day or 90-day search volume trend. Go ahead and select 90 days. This is over the course of 3 months, how much that search volume has increased or how much it has decreased. What I like to put in here is between 10 and 100. And you might be asking yourself, Josh, why do we put the max at 100? That's because if you have something above 100%, typically it's going to be either a seasonal or fad type product. That is a very, very significant increase over the past 3 months for that search volume to quickly jump above 100%. Now these numbers, they are somewhat arbitrary, 10 to 100, but I really started to notice over 100%, we began to see those seasonal and fad type products. Okay, and then down to seasonality, of course, we're not going to leave this very high. We're going to move that to very low and low, just like the competition. These, just leave them blank, and then now we can go ahead and we can click search. Now, once you've clicked search, you're gonna notice that there should only be 1 or 2 pages because we really have a filtered down set, which is great because it's very narrow and it's very specific to what we're looking for, being a long-term product. What I like to go ahead and do now is there's a couple of things that you can filter and assort is probably the better word for it. But I like to assort them based on the highest niche score, which is shown here, from the 10s down to 7. And then the second one that I take a look at, if I didn't find anything too attractive, I'd go to the 90-day search trend and I'd look for something that is fairly high, close to that 100%, but not over. So let's just take a quick look at these. I haven't looked at any of these yet. I'm just gonna scroll down. So for one like yellow notepads, you may see this product at first and you say, yellow notepads, it's not too interesting. I'm not too excited about that. And looking at the data, we have just under 500 monthly search volume. We have a 27% and 13% 30-day and 90-day search trends. It's not that attractive, right? But when you start looking at the search volume trend itself, you can see that's very stable. And this is what we want to look for in a product. Now, there was a jump here in November to the end of the year last year, but it's nothing of concern because it went up maybe 4 times from what it's usually used to seeing. But what I like to pay particular attention to and what I'm interested in is that current year, what does the trend look like? Is it stable and it's not moving at all? Did we see some spikes during the winter months or the spring months telling us it's a seasonal product? And we're not going to see that here. What we're seeing is, although it's somewhat jagged, we're seeing a steady increase. So that's overall, that's a good product. I would be a little bit cautious with yellow notepads because there are some big names like Bic and a lot of those office products, brands that are out there that could really hurt your entry into market. So let's see if we can find one more before we move on here. Okay, so I took a second to find a good one because I know we're on our 3rd product and we have more to get into, but this is a bottle label maker. Let's take a look at what these look like very quickly. As you can see, they are electronic, so I may stay away from them, but for the sake of the search volume trend, this is ideally what I want to see. Other than the low amount of number of searches, what you want to see for a long-term product is a very stable and consistent demand. Throughout all seasons, even though there are not a lot of exact searches, we're seeing anywhere between 30 and 45 searches for the most part for the past 2 years. Now, if this was a product that had, let's say, maybe 800 to 1,000 monthly searches, exact searches, and it looked just like this for the search trend, I would be all over this because it tells me, regardless if it's January, if it's July, if it's 2023, if it's 2021, this product is still going to sell consistently, and that will protect my overall investment the best. Okay, so I want to make sure that you're an expert by the time that you leave this video, and you can easily understand by taking a look at the search volume trends what a seasonal, fad, or long-term product type looks like. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at 4 different search volume trends for 4 different product niches. I'm not going to tell you what the product niche is, and we're also going to block out the seasonality that Jungle Scout suggests for you. So I'm going to have you take a look at these. I'm going to give you a couple seconds to answer, and I'm going to identify what I believe it to be and the reason why. All right, I know everyone hates tests, but this is going to be a very quick and simple exercise that we can go ahead and do just to ensure you are good to go for your own searches. So this first one here, I'm showing you the search volume trend. Obviously, you can't see the niche or the seasonality, but since the past 2 years, we've seen a very consistent increase in demand, and we're nearing actually the peak right now for exact searches. So what do you think this is? Is it seasonal? Is it a fad? Or is it a long-term product? Okay, a couple seconds of awkward silence there. Let's hope you said a long-term product. What I like about this is that it has a steady increase over the past 2 years. It is somewhat jagged, but overall, if you were to take a simple moving average of this, you would be able to tell that this is a uptrend for the past 2 years, and it's very consistent over time. Okay, on to test number 2. This one should be a fairly easy one. We've seen very stable, although it's very low demand in comparison to the last month when we saw this huge spike. We went from about 100, let's just call it 100 exact searches back in June of 2021, the whole way to 16,000 in August, between August 8th and the 14th. What do you think this is? All right, this is a fad type product. This is actually for a King Shark, which is from the DC Comics. There must be a movie coming out that I'm not aware of, but this tells me maybe a trailer came out and all of a sudden this dramatic demand came for this type of product, this toy. The category was also another thing to keep an eye out for, toys and games. And then most importantly, looking at the 30-day and 90-day search trend, it's huge increase in search, almost 2,000 for the 30-day and over 3,000 for the 90-day. So this is a product we want to stay away from because it's very hard to predict when these fad type products are going to get the demand. If you were to go ahead right now and try to sell this product, it'd probably be too late, and that demand is going to be back down to lower levels between March and July. Okay, we'll move through this one just a little bit quicker. This is the third one. As we can see here, we see some increase in demand from August 2019 to the end of, to the middle of November of 2019. Very similar story. Started increasing in June of 2020 and basically died off by the end of November. A little longer lived there in 2020, but still we saw a huge peak demand. Currently, it's first week of September. We're starting to see an increase in demand, and I'd expect it to be very similar to the previous year. All right, so what do you think this is? Hopefully you guessed it's a seasonal product, and it's very easy to tell just by looking at the search volume trend. You see these 2 peaks over the past 2 years during the same duration of time, and that's because this is the Halloween niche. Now, obviously, if you looked at Halloween, you'd say, yes, that's seasonal, but this just goes to show that you can just look at the search volume trend regardless of what the niche is, if you know what it is or not, and you can tell, all right, this is a product that's only going to sell between August and November. Okay, and lastly, our 4th example here. Let's see if you can get this one. I hope you guys are 3 for 3 right now. If not, it means I haven't done a great job. So we're going to take a look at this niche here. It has an odd 30-day and 90-day search trend, negative 2% for the 30-day, so it's declining month over month, and then a 13% for the 90-day. Not super attractive numbers, but the monthly search volume, that is extremely high, 221,000 exact searches. Moving down to the search volume here, as we can see, not a whole lot of demand in 2019. Started picking up between the middle of 2020 to the end of 2020. And then we really started to see it take off here in 2021 with very high search volume trends. Is this a long-term product, a fad, or a seasonal type product? All right, great. This is a long-term product, and that's because we saw a continued rise in demand. It's steadily increasing in demand. And we also saw that with the monthly searches and the 90-day search trend. It's not dramatically increasing like a fad or seasonal type product. All right, thank you for watching today, guys. Most importantly, what I want you to take away from this video is how to read these search volume trends and to identify some of the different filters that you can apply so you're not looking at those seasonal or fad type products. Most importantly, look at the data, Do not just rely on what you think the niche is or what you believe it to be. Look at the data, because the data does not lie.